at our own attributes and become overwhelmed by them. But let us look around us. Let us look at the many forces greater than us. And as soon as we realize that, we become dwarfed. In climbing a mountain, why are people climbing mountains? You read about or hear about these mountain climbers and another one fell off, or another one froze. And even the guys that make it to the top. Once I somehow or other wound up in a hotel room sharing with some mountain climber, a real one who went to the top. And he got frostbite in 6 toes, and they had to be cut off, and 2 fingers as well. I've been to the top of the mountains. 6 toes and 2 fingers you lost on that mountain? I mean, are you okay? Why on earth did you have to climb on that thing? What for? There was a long flight from South Africa, and someone was watching this mountain climber, a free-form mountain climber. He's going up this mountain without any ropes or anything, and he's putting his hands in little things, and some are crawling up that mountain. Insanity. And then it was a documentary, and then it showed that so many of his friends had died, and this and that, and another one, and you go like, what are you doing? Why do you have to go up that mountain? What's the benefit? Just to see things from above. No, but the real benefit, the real thing of a mountain is that you actually become dwarfed. That is really the most, the core of it all. You climb up, and by my power I did it. But then as you're there at the peak of your power, then you feel dwarfed, and you feel a little awe and reverence, and it's almost religious. A similar experience I had with a man. I was with Sakhi, Swami, and many devotees. We had 2 boats, big ones, rented, expensive also. Anyway, clippers, like big sailing boats with 3 masts on it, and they were going to the Danish islands. And then Sakhi Swami was very innovative in preaching. His idea was people will come to look at the boat. You see, Kadamba, Kanana, Swami. And then what we will do is we'll treat the deck like a stage. And we'll just do a performance for the people. Yes, Maharaj. So we did, and lots of people came to watch, and it was, we did a good show. So afterwards I came off the boat, and by now everybody knew we were the people of the boat, And then this man came up to me, and he said, I also have a big boat. And I said, oh. And then he says, and I'm from Holland. I said, I'm also from Holland. Okay, so we were equals, We both had a big boat, and we were both from Holland, All right. So he said, would you like to see my boat? I said, why not? I came on his boat. He says, what would you like to drink? I said, water. Thank you. He offered me some water, had a glass of wine, and we were toasting, and then he said, this boat is, with this boat I made an Atlantic crossing. I said, whoa, impressive. He said, oh, it It was so impressive. He said, when I was there on the middle of the Atlantic and I saw the sun rising out of the water, you cannot imagine the beauty. The beauty, he said, it was just overwhelming. The red in the water, the red in the sky, and just how it was all reflecting. He said, you know, when I saw that beauty, I felt moved, you know. I felt moved. And then he takes a sip of his wine and he says, and what went wrong in your life that you had to invent a god? And I said, ho, 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 wait a minute, ho, ho, ho. Just seconds ago you were on your knees practically praying for the sunrise coming out of the Atlantic. You were so moved by the beauty of nature. Why? Why so much awe and reverence for nature? And now you're asking me this question? You know, what went wrong in your life? So it was a tit-for-tat meeting. Anyway, he poured another glass of wine and asked me if I wanted another glass of water. There's only so much water a man can drink, you know. So I left him there with his boat. But why? Why did this man, who was clearly an atheist, have such semi-religious feelings simply for the sun rising out of the Atlantic? But that is the nature of the design of the Supreme Lord, who has somehow or other arranged this principle of Punar Musika Bhav. Be a mouse again, become dwarfed. That is karma, you know. Yeah, you know, if you break your something, if you break a bone, oh yes, say it was your foot, then, you know, it is a reaction. It is a reaction for something you did before. Did you step on somebody's toes? Not only are you breaking your foot, you're also breaking your head, wondering, what was it for? What did I do it for? So karma is a somewhat strange mechanism, because you get punished, but you don't know what for. What if I just give Tulsi here a slap, right? What was that for? You know, you deserve the punishment. Well, what did I do? What is the point if I slap him and he doesn't know what he's being slapped for? And how can he correct himself? So generally we think of karma in that way, as a way that we are supposed to, we get this punishment for something we've done in the past, and then we're supposed to kind of correct ourselves. Aren't we supposed to then become aware of our mistakes, repent, and never do it again? No, karma doesn't work like that most of the time. Sometimes people know why it happened, but most of the time you don't know. He doesn't know why I'm slapping him. You don't know. But it's not working on that level of having some, of bringing us to an insight and then repentance and all that. It works on another level, on a more primitive level, a more animalistic level. We're simply being reduced by karma. Boom. Smash it. Take it away, and then we sit, reduced. Right? Being a mouse again. And again, and again, and again. That's why I said, that's life. To be a mouse again. And who is not going through this? Me, all the time. And that's my nickname. The mouse. Now you know. Mickey Mouse and, Kadamba Mouse, and dot, mouse, and just fill your name. Oh yes, you can just. And that is what time will do to us, because even if different events that suddenly happen are not doing it to us, then time will do it. Oh yes. Have you seen in school that there are beautiful girls or boys? Did you see it? You saw. I also saw. Did you look 10 years later? There were less of them. Did you look another 10 years ahead? There were still less of them. And how many are still beautiful over 50? Very few. But even those, in their mid-60s or 70s, it's over. It is over. I was, at that time, when old age really sets in, that's when the chin and the nose start to approach each other. Yes, what can I say? Puna musika bhav! Oh, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most beautiful on the wall? Of all, sorry. Zing, at one point you look in the mirror will crack. Poor mirror cannot tolerate it any longer. Will be reduced. Oh yes. Beethoven. Ta-da-da-da, ta-da-da-da. A little dramatic personality, I would say. Beethoven, the great composer, in his old age he went deaf. Ooh, Puna Musika Bhav. Did he get a dose of it? That was intense. Intense dose. The great composer went deaf. Could be a mouse. And Prabhupada was lying there in his old age in Vrindavan, surrounded by sannyasis and other senior disciples who were taking care of him. And Prabhupada was somehow or other, even in those last moments, completely in control, although physically maybe dependent on them, but mentally and spiritually totally not dependent on them. They were completely dependent on him. And Prabhupada was lying there, heavily afflicted by disease and old age and incapacitated. And Prabhupada said, don't think that this will not happen to you. Don't think. In Bengali they say, Gila Gova Hashe, the wet cow dung is laughing at the dry cow dung. Said, look at you, they're going in the fire, look at you, they're going in the fire. He's wet, but he's going to dry as well. Everyone's going to dry, and when you dry, you shrivel up. Oh yes. And all the creams in the world are not going to help, ladies. It's not going to work. And I can tell you that. Isn't it Sadhguru? Your mother put so much cream, but you told me that it didn't work. I remember that one. Yeah. Yes, so in this way, we can see these dynamics in the material world. Now, in this particular chapter of Bhagavatam, the mouse dynamics is coming in a somewhat dramatic feature of Parasaram, who goes around with a chopper very quickly at the speed of mind, and when he slows it's still the speed of wind, and no kshatriya. No kshatriya can stand up against it, and they're all being destroyed. But what's the difference between time or the chopper of Parasuram? One goes with the speed of mind, and the other one you don't notice. Only sometimes. Sometimes you suddenly see, I'm getting old. Sometimes you see it, oh my God, I'm getting old. But many times we don't, because it just grows on you very slowly. There is that Shangri-La movie, and in that movie there is one lady who has been in the Shangri-La valley where time doesn't act. And then she comes out of that valley, and then suddenly all this old age is growing upon her. It's a shocking scene. You can find it on YouTube if you want to. Nowadays you can just see it like that. Yes. There's another one that I'll share with you, since I'm talking movies. This one is from a movie known as American Graffiti. And there are these two old people. No, sorry. It's not like that at all. There is a party. There's a party and there's these two people, and they are your typical Hollywood success people. You know, he's got his tuxedo and he's like, got like aristocratic hair. She's like a gorgeous blonde, all the measurements and all the right measurements, right places, everything is fine. They're coming in and coming home from the party. They kick their shoes off. Right? And it turns out he has false plateaus in the shoes, and he's a bit shorter than he was. Right? Then they pull their wigs off. He's bald. She has miserable strands of hair. And as she is letting the air out of the balloons, he lets the belly strap go. Right? And in the end, there's these two old people sitting in bed, and their teeth are smiling at us from a glass of water. I mean, it is a really, really good clip. If you can find that one on YouTube, send it to me, please. I'm trying to get it, but it's hard to get, because it would be really good for some little seminar or something, for the colorful effects. You can also use it, no problem. We can use it everywhere, so please find it for me. Some of you are very powerful on the internet. It's amazing the things you can do there. I don't know where you get the power from, but But one day, rest assured, you're gonna lose it. You're gonna lose that power too. That is the nature of material life. The Sat Avikar, the 6 transformations, it comes into being, it grows, it flourishes, it gives us some byproducts, it starts to dwindle, and it ceases to exist. Welcome to the material world. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Any comments? I'm just looking. Okay. Say it slow and clear.
I'm wondering, what is the last contamination that leaves us? Like, becoming mouse, so we get corrected over and over again. What is the most subtle?
What is the last snare of Maya?
Yeah, what is the most
You
subtle?
don't know the last snare of Maya?
I was thinking it's a fame or something.
No, it's not that. It's the desire to be God. That Prabhupada identified that. The last snare of Maya is the desire to be God. Because that's also where it begins. Ultimately, we have turned away from Krishna and are in competition with Krishna instead of serving him. So that is the last thing that comes out in the wash. But before that, it all comes out in the wash. So your fame certainly this one of the opulences of Krishna. We want that, yes. Who is this Krishna anyway? Shishupal said. You know, I have what he has. In fact, I am more wealthy than he is. Who is this Krishna anyway? Pura musica above.
So, can we say that actually this mentality of being God, it comes in the mentality that we don't want to let go being the supreme enjoyer, the supreme controller?
Can we say that we don't want to let go of being the supreme enjoyer and the supreme controller, that we're in competition with God? Yes, we can say. We're all acting out our pastimes. My Ras Lila. Yes. You know, Bhakti Romeo and Bhakti and Juliet with Radha and Krishna in the background. That's it. That's what it's about. That's first. My love is a very, very splendid love and all that. My love is the first thing in my life. And she's called Juliet. Or he's called Romeo. Bhakta. He joined our Krishna movement. Radha and Krishna, the backdrop. There is that. Romeo and Juliet, with Radha and Krishna as the backdrop. Any other question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare
Why is human being's life is so important? So you said that every living being is important, but
Atata Dhami Jigyasa. Therefore now inquire into the absolute truth. The Acharyas explains this therefore now means therefore now that we have attained the human form of life, inquire into the absolute truth. Because that's the one thing human beings can do. Demigods can also do it, but it's hard when you're enjoying like anything. But as a human being, you suffer like a dog, but you have more brains. That's why it's possible. This is called Mrityu-loka. The demigods are looking at us like, look at these creatures. Look at these little smelly creatures. Their lives are so short. How can they possibly express everything in such a short little life? Just as we're looking at these insects that live one night, and they have to do everything in one night, a one-night life. You get born, you have to grow up, you have to get married, you have to have children, you have to get old, and you have to die all in one night. Is it worth it? Why even bother? Yeah? So that's those insects. The demigods see us like that. These human beings, it's a sad state. It's a very sad state. That's us. Good luck. Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Your Holiness, can you tell what Krishna is like?
Can I tell what Krishna is like? I'm not sure. Because that's a lot to tell. In a very concise way. It's just, Krishna is amazing. In one word. It is just Aishcharya. He's amazing. His qualities are just never fail to just bring us to a point of just being unable to comprehend. When people see Krishna's beauty, they can't comprehend. Can it exist? Is it even possible? is it even possible for this level of beauty to exist? Is it even possible to show the strength that Parasuram shows? The speed, is it possible? Okay, it's like, it is just stunning. Stunning. Krishna is stunning. Your beard will stand on end. Yes.
What a splendid class. Such a hard message, and yet we were laughing and accepting and taking it and understanding it. It's wonderful. So from yesterday's class, we were saying that why do normal people think that we're not normal? Because our reaction to this is what makes us so special that we can take all of this and and laugh and accept it and have resolution to make changes to adjust to this reality.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot to paraphrase. I'll try, but in short, how can we, the theme of the class, where we're laughing about being reduced in this world, and how can we keep that vision? The material world is the place designed for forgetfulness of Krishna. When Brahma is creating the universe, he has to put in there the influence of nescience, the influence of forgetfulness, the opposite of knowledge. Just to facilitate the living. Therefore, normal living entities are here to forget Krishna. And they're doing a good job at it. They're trying hard. Still they're being reminded, like the man on the ocean or the man on the mountain. Still they're being reminded in various ways. Or when we see just the beauty in nature. If you look out of this window and you carefully are going to look at the trees, then it's interesting, there are 2 trees over there on that side. They're very tall and they have also some different color. And when I've looked at these trees many times, because I stayed in the room upstairs in the past, and I looked at these trees and I'm thinking, these must have been the owners of this castle. I thought about it many times. And I said, and they're still standing there as a couple. They're still a couple, as they were before, just looking at their castle. Okay, it may be a speculation, but it could be. It could be a story like that. It could well be. So the material world is a stage. The script is written, and the title of the play is For the Music Above. Be a mouse again. And that is the situation. And we're all on the stage. Some realize it. It's only a play. And when you realize it's only a play, then we can laugh about it. And we can laugh about it. It's just a play. Oh, look at that. Everything was taken away. Ha ha. Because it's not the all in all. And once we become devotees, then we get the mercy of this movement, and all these material things are no longer the all in all. Oh, I have a degree. It's not the all in all. Nice, you have one. But, and it has its merits. But it's not the all in all. Krishna is the all in all. And once we know that, then we begin to see this is a stage, and it's just a play. And plays get very dramatic sometimes. And plays are funny also at times. And some light plays, some heavy plays, different flavors. So life offers all this variety of flavors. And the materialist will say, isn't that beautiful? All this variety, isn't that beautiful? And it is, but we are more interested in the person behind it all, because he is the most beautiful. It is just like if you have a particular playwright and you read these plays, you see the plays, then at one point you become impressed by the plays. And then you want to know more about the author. You develop a desire to know the author. And in the end, the author becomes more important than his poetry. In this way, it is like that. The creation is amazing, but the creator is the most amazing for making such a creation. Who is the creator? And what is he like? And once you go there, then you see that is something else. Because he is performing pastimes where happiness is increasing forever. Eternal, where love is just growing forever. That is what he is doing. But we didn't want to be part of it, so we can be here and performing our plays. All right. We're going to close now. So now we get the thank you for being here somehow or other. Somehow or other, in the material world, everyone has a birthday. So I also have one. And I think, what to do with a birthday? I never liked birthdays so much because I would never get the gifts that I wrote on the top of my list. It was always a little below on the list, so that's frustrating. And then my mother had this thing of, you had to have the potato race on the spoon. You know, I hated potato, a potato on a wooden spoon and then a race. Or they had a thing where they would hang a piece of cake on a string on the washing line, and you had to eat it without your hands. I hated that one too. What can I say? So, birthdays wasn't so much my thing, to be honest. I was a funny kid. I didn't like birthdays. So, the birthday part, I'm glad it's over. Although I have one more little birthday in Australia somewhere, what to do? You have the Vedic birthday, you have the passport birthday, but this birthday in Radhadesh is still the best of all, because I always put this birthday before the birthday of the king in the past, of the queen. But somehow or other, the queen became the king, and so is Amsterdam. And somehow or other, I put my birthday before that, so that at least we all go to Amsterdam and do something there. And that, I hope, will become a tradition which will go on forever. Right? I hope it will never stop. I hope that even after I am long gone and have taken my next incarnation as a mouse, that all of you will still go on with the King's Day. And I hope that your disciples will go, and your children will go on with the King's Day. And if it becomes a queen again, no problem. Just keep the kirtan going somehow or other. That would be the best gift I could ever King's Day going. There's no escaping. I know you're getting old now, but forget it. Even when you're old and you're given up Harinam Ruchi, if you ever do, still have to come to King's Day. But Mahavishnu Swami is 76 or something like that. Huh? 4. Okay, what is 74 say? And he's still doing it. Still doing it. So I think Harinam Ruchi should just never stop. Yeah. Just never stop. Just don't stop. But that's all. Whatever happens, don't stop. Then one day you'll just be there in the spiritual world doing the same thing. Playing Kadamba forever. But then, with the speed of mind. When I get tired, the speed of the wind. But that's only for show, for variation's sake. May that day come to pass. So thank you all for your contributions. I liked this little social development conference / workshop, whatever it is. I hope you got some inspiration from there. I think altogether we have a nice festival, and it was nice because of you. We want to thank Srila Chaitanya Prabhu for providing us with all the facility, because I was here long ago when this castle was all broken, and Srila Chaitanya came and he fixed it up. Painstakingly built it up from an old neglected place to what it is now. So we are indebted to him for providing us the facility.
So we should thank Shamananda. He is the one who...
Shamananda is the temple president now. He's the one who is currently taking the responsibility. And Shamananda is, we thank him for his brushy eyebrows and his place, for being who he is. Shamananda has made many contributions to this festival. If I gotta go over a whole thank you list, and then we're gonna miss breakfast, and I like breakfast, so I won't do that. I just say thank you to all, and there are, and no one is exempted. Everyone, thank you for your contribution. Srila Prabhupada. And if you want to meet up again, then come to the next festival, which is on the Shringa farm in Germany. Right? It's only one such deity in Europe. So if you can manage it, Gorman is here. I don't know. Is there anyone from there? When is the festival? Which are the dates? Till 19. Okay. 15 to the 19th. It's your chance to get the mercy of Lord Vishnu. Thank you very much.
Can I just make an announcement before we stand up? So just a reminder for people staying in the guest house, checkout is 11 o'clock. So please, if you can take the bedding off, keep it tidily in the middle of the room. Remember that Brahmana leaves a place more tidy than they find it. So you can take inspiration from that. Make sure the rooms are tidy. No lunch is provided for the festival participants. So there's only breakfast, and then the plan is that you depart before lunch. And does anyone know the dates for next year? King's Day?
27th of April.
Okay.
Next year.
So you can put it in your diaries for next year. And we can make a prayer to the deities this morning that Maharaj is protected in his health, so that we have Maharaj here next year with us. So if we can get 3 Haribols for Maharaj's contribution, because he's been the inspiration behind the whole festival. Kadamba Kanana Swami Maharaj ki Jai! Srila Prabhupada ki Jai!
Without the reason.
Mataji, is yours?
Where are you staying now? I'll quickly go run up and get it.
but forever. Yeah, we try. Really, I want to try. I was thinking of asking this question because it's funny to mention this, how you get older. It's really like everything is like collapsing. And in one way, it's true. It makes me feel but at the same time, it's so beautiful. The beauty is like the best.
In theory, they should follow the guidance.
Yeah, really, all this attachment and everything.
It has to be interpreted. But then it says, so first the Dharma, if that is confusing or there's multiple opinions, then the opinion of the Brahmins is stronger. If they disagree, then you can reject people in general. If that's undecided, then you do whatever you think. That's the hard.
It's like, it's all your condition and things like structure. It's like when you turn yourself on the sand and waves are coming and you just look at it and it's okay.
Well, it's hard to say. Draupadi forgave him, or Draupadi didn't want to kill because of his mother. So that fact that Draupadi, why would she have to go through that? Just went through that as her compassion.
And today, in the material world, just structures in any way. It's like this balance is destroyed. Look at how we look at this house, look at personal.
I noticed when this time started it's not working like before, you cannot put your strength in all your capacity. And it depends on it's easier.
But then, of course, it's the material world, so you should just keep going to last
I still try to be balanced. It's more hard.
So that's the nature of the world, that it's going to, that's what Marx was sort of saying.
What is it more than language, more spiritual? Are these spiritual beings?
I was trying on the airport.
It's the material world.
Yeah, you can try, It's very nice.
Yeah.
I didn't like too much this erase. Erase is like when you draw, erase is not like a slow, it's erase like the whole section. You know that when you have eraser you can...
I suppose we all live in such a unit.
I didn't, maybe there is more option.
Didn't take advantage of it.
There is different, so many different ways, different kind of pencil, different shades.
And now we're in the glorious time.
But it's nice. Some certain things you can do. Not really.
It might be all So you
But
when
I'm not
you
really-
indulge in stuff.
But I love
So
making,
there,
I make
like,
art
you get to
with
know the
I
actual
love
substance.
to.
So you at school, you have
It's a lot
substance.
of, it's a lot of design here. So you do for my ladies, who would have known me, super good breast. It's mostly
Is there a teacher
no, I
teaching
make it
something?
from university, I just buy the material, but it's a simple technique. It's very nice. With a little bit of stitching, I install, create some design and different kind of ball. Because there are no people, Krishna is like this, yeah. Radharani like this. So they do
So you have to
that much. Oh yeah, my phone. I left my phone on the table.
Lovely, lovely to see you. So
Thank you for reminding me. It was here. Maybe they probably brought it somewhere. Ah, it's here. I can show you. No, it's printed. It's like something like. No, it was like this. I will try to find the material. It's like Chinese. They're actually from Orissa. They're very old, like 200 years old or something. Actually, Gurudev, he gave a blessing because I was searching everywhere in Uribhaza and I told him, I can't find anything that touched me. And he said, you cannot find Uribhaza. He loved these antique deities. So he told me he wanted to give from his own, but they didn't have that time. He already gave to everyone. So he said, no ways Krishna is coming. And while we were traveling, somehow we met one of our brothers in the contact of one of our brothers in India. And he's the one who find all these deities that grew there. So he gave us his contact message, asking to find him. And we did that, and after a week, he probably had them for a long time. So he said, Gurudev, he proposed them to you. And he refused them because they were totally bigger. Gurudev is like small size. They are not that big, but just for travel, I use this person, right? It's from Mumbai. So it's exactly where Gurudev usually likes to go. They are from Orissa. I can show you how they came. How they came. They came from. Huh?
Hare